What's up? It is, man, it's early. So I'm getting to the gym now at 2 in the morning because I have to work out before I start seeing my clients, because if I don't do it, then I won't do it by the end of the day. So it's been kind of working out for me to come into the gym early. Believe it or not, sitting in the car, I feel more comfortable recording because then I just kind of like flow with whatever, story I'm talking about. Um, It was it was rough growing up in Chicago, man, just because of how violent the city is, and I live in Phoenix now, and there's no comparison. Even in the worst neighborhoods here, it's pretty bad. There's shootings and everything, but it's not as aggressive as it is in Chicago. It's been going on for so long over there, from the Al Capone days, that I have to believe that it's embedded into the neighborhoods, into the culture, into haircuts, the way you dress, the way you walk, the way you talk. I mean, it's crazy because I tell people, I had to be the best actor sometimes when I was walking on the streets, kind of flexing, kind of like telling people, this is my hood, mess with me. Obviously I was strapped, and that's why I was walking, and they call it marching in Chicago. You march up and down your street, just waiting to start trouble, waiting to supposedly prove yourself. But you'll see families over there that are, the grandma's been an Ambro, the dad's been an Ambro, the the uncles are Ambros, a whole family tree just of the same organization. And then you'll have families that it's crazy, like they're split in half. Some of them are kings, some of them are folks. But it's definitely a culture, a lifestyle over there, even from the Rammers and people that are not from Chicago. Rammers are any big box truck or car, those old ones from the 80s that are made out of metal, that they pretty much, in Chicago it's really popular. You ram people like with your car, like you're in bumper cars. Like you chase people down and you make them crash, and that's what they do. They chase you with these big trucks, these big cars, these Chevy Caprices, 9.8s, big old tanks, and they chase you down. This is how the gangs operate in Chicago. On the south side where we were from, we mostly got into fights like that on Western, when we used to drive from 59th Street on Western all the way down to Cermak to 18 and Cal, Oakley, and every week we would all jump in cars. It would be about 7 cars, and we would all go from neighborhood to neighborhood, all the SD neighborhoods, from 32nd to 42nd to 51st to 50th to 59, then back to 18 and Cermak, and it would be like nonstop, just kind of I guess you could say patrolling the area, because that's what we were doing. And we got into a lot of fights, a lot of shootings. I tell people, man, my PTSD has started at a very young age with what happened to me. But once I got on the streets in Chicago, my flight and fight mode got turned on, and it really never turned off till recently. And I want to say recently, like maybe a year ago. I had a short fuse about everything. Everything bothered me. I would put myself down a lot. I had imposter syndrome. It was just from everything in general that had happened to me, or I had seen, or I had done, or I had been a part of. I mean, it all catches up. It all catches up. At the end, it all catches up. And I had to work on myself a lot. to learn to not be violent, to learn to not react without thinking about consequences. Um, but it's been a journey, man, just because of growing up the way that I did with so much, gun violence, so much fights, beat downs, and then you go to a prison and it's that times 100, and you get released and they expect you to be normal. And it's like you're far from normal. I tell stories sometimes and people are like, what? Like, that was your life? And I'm like, yeah. And the sad part is that I thought it was normal. I thought it was normal to carry a gun around with you. I thought it was normal to take stuff. I thought it was normal. Just a lot of things that weren't normal I was doing, and that's why I ended up getting into so much trouble and just spent so much time in prison, man. In and out, my whole life. And it's crazy because we think that we know it all. We're young. We think we know it all. We think that time is like always gonna be there. And look at fast forward. Now I'm 48 years old. It feels just like yesterday that I went in when I was about 16, whatever. And I just started healing. This past year has been a big, I guess you could say, a big maturity year for me, because a lot of things changed. My vocabulary changed, the people I hung around with, things I was watching, things I was doing. I started feeling guilty about things that didn't bother me before, and that's how I knew that I was changing now. That's how I knew I was evolving. I was getting better, because things started to bother me that didn't bother me before, and I started treating people better. I started started saying sorry when I when I snap on people, because I still have my moments sometimes where I forget where I'm at, and people out here live very different to people that have been in prison, so sometimes, like, I hate when people sneak up from behind me. I hate when people touch me. I hate when people get close to me and I'm eating and they're standing over my food. I hate when people are around me in the kitchen. It's funny that was one of the biggest fights that me and Beth used to have, is that if I was in the kitchen, no one could be in the kitchen with me. And she would go in there and it would bother me. I would lose it. And her daughter would go in there. And it's so funny because it was because of prison. Because you're living in such close quarters that every little inch matters. Every little inch. That's why I feel so uncomfortable when people get close to me, because they're invading my circle of privacy. Like, get away, give me 5 feet. If I could smell your breath, you're too close. You're way too close. Yeah, so we're wrapping up the program, the USP program. The USP program is a video program with a workbook and journal that I've been working on for 6 years since I came home from prison, and I'm just now getting ready to release it. Why? Because just now I learned to fix myself. I don't suffer from imposter syndrome no more. I know the work that I've done on myself. I know the work that I continue to do. I kind of know where my career is going right now, from where I was at. A lot of healing, a lot of forgiveness, getting my teeth put in. It's been a roller coaster, but I wouldn't change it for nothing, just because I've learned so much. And I guess you could say my biggest win is, learning to trust now, because I didn't know how to trust. I didn't know how to trust at all, and my wife was the one that paid the biggest price for that, you know, and she never gave up, you know, she never gave up. She stuck around. It's been 4 years. She got the worst of the worst the first 2 years before I got saved. And, you know, November 6th, when I got on my knees and I was serious, I was tired. I was afraid. I didn't know what to expect anymore. Like I tell people, I don't want to try to explain it, and I don't care for it, because I know what happened that day. That day, I received a new heart, and I don't care what anybody says. That day, a new JC, a new version of JC was born. A better, a cleaner one. Just the person that I was supposed to be with God in my life. Not who I was letting the world make me think that I was a gangster and a violent person and all this stuff. And that day, everything started to change. You know, and I had a lot of, like, I guess you could say, bumps in the road where I just wasn't getting it right, or I was struggling with this and I was struggling with that, but I was trying, but slowly, you know, the change started happening slowly, and trust was the very last one. Trust, learning to be by myself, all that stuff. So pretty much, you know how I tell people, I wasn't ready to sell the program because I wasn't living it yet. Now that I'm living it, now that I see how much it's affecting me and changing me, now I know that it works. It's possible for people to learn to change with small little habits, small little fixes, small little, you know, that's why they say you hire somebody that did it, so that way you don't have to, like, try and guess it to get it done. Like, my program pretty much runs through 6 modules. It is learning to be alone, physical strength, you know, your body, mind, everything, spiritual, sleep, discipline, forgiveness, and then at the end, just learning to align all that together and living a life like you're in prison. Pretty much, I call it control movement, where every minute and every hour counts to either better yourself or help this world get better. You know, my speaking engagements haven't gotten so much better because I've been practicing more, you know, public speaking, and it's funny because I've learned to speak now without using profanity. And before it was all profanity. and I realized that it sounds so bad. Like, I'll hear people talking that come to the gym, or when I call back home, and stuff like that, and I hear them talking, and I'm like, man, like, I can't believe I used to talk like that. The change has been beautiful from where I was at to where I am at today. But I'm not going to sit here and lie and sugarcoat it and say that it was easy, because it wasn't. It was hard, man. I'm not going to lie. It was hard, but I didn't give in. I was ready to experience a different life without feeling the deep sadness that I felt most of my life. That hole in my chest, that insecurity, that's being afraid, you know. And that's why, like, in my module, I talk about all those things, even sleep, because back in the day I couldn't sleep. I would sleep maybe 2 hours, 3 hours. That was it. You know, a lot of people see me getting up so early now, and they're like, when do you sleep? I sleep. I just go to bed really early. I'm in bed by 5. And by the time I wake up at 1, I'm fully rested already. I'm ready to go. So, you know, I make up for it, but I sleep like a champ now. Back in the day, I did not sleep, and so I would try to like medicate myself, whether it was NyQuil, beer, drugs, whatever I could, all right, to make myself sleep. And I would sleep, but it was miserable sleep. It was deep sadness sleep. Like I would wake up and I would be mad. I would rush into work with the music loud, playing rap music about killing people and this and that. And then I would get to the gym. My eyes would be, red from being tired. And then I would start screaming at people at the gym and putting people down. And I was just a very broken man. I was a very, very broken man. And I see the difference in me. I see the difference from, I call it the Chicago JC, the Brazier. That's what they used to call me over there. Brazier, Green Eyes. And the JC from Phoenix, Arizona. The one that's kind of grown up and gotten his life together. Even just a little bit. Because I'm still struggling with my kids, like learning to be a dad and like caring, calling, texting. I just got into the habit of like talking to my daughter every day, my little one. And I'm not gonna lie, it's been hard, and I keep it real. People are like, oh, how can you say that about your kids? I keep it real because like people expect you to like go through what you went through or whatever, and they expect you to just act like you know how to do these things. And I'm not like that. I'm not gonna sit there and pretend to be a father and damage my kids the way I was damaged. So I walk around with like I'm walking on eggshells because I don't want to say something wrong. I don't want to do something wrong. I'm very lucky to have my kids back in my life. Most of my kids are already grown in their 20s, and Rudy just came back into my life. He's 16. Valerie's talking to me, not talking to me. She's 18. She might be making me into a grandfather. And then Annabella, like my little one, she's 6. My whole life, I was selfish to survive. Like, I had to eat the sandwich before you so I could survive. When I was homeless on the streets, walking, from hood to hood and sleeping whatever house I could, it was all about survival. Same thing when I ended up in prison in a foreign country, Mexico. Like, it was about survival. I had to survive. I had to do whatever I had to do. When I got to the prisons in the United States, as a kid, my parents moved me around so much. My dad, my grandparents, I was from neighborhood to neighborhood. So I had to learn how to be a chameleon and adapt into different neighborhoods, fit in. Over there, you get killed. You get killed for that. Just for association, you get killed. So you have to be very careful, have very good street smarts, and know how to maneuver. My whole life, man, I've been running, chasing, shooting, getting shot at, handing beat downs, getting beat down. I mean, it's been a nonstop, story, and that's why I feel better recording like this, because then we can get into the deep stuff. And like tomorrow I want to talk about that big old prison fight I got into in the FCI. They almost killed me. That one was, and it's stupid because I seen it coming, but me trying to be tough. Didn't want to lock it up. That's what they call it when they're gonna kill you, and they tell you to lock it up, to go to PC or segregation. It's been a school, but I have to believe that life, the school of life, is way better than any other school, because in the short 6 years that I've been out, I mean, and I'm not tooting. I have to say, I'm tooting my own horn, I guess, because I'm not suffering from imposter syndrome no more. But it's been 6 years. I have a book on Amazon, right? I've been on 3 TV shows. I'm about to do a movie with Conejo from LA. I'm about to release I'm working on another couple books. A Dozen Roses, How to Diet Like a Mexican, Walking the Dog, my life story. Life is good. Life is good, and I'm very grateful for how much life has given me. God has been good to me. He's changed me. He's just blessed me with so much stuff, and the best part is that I get to share it with guys like me that have been down the same road and have struggled with the same things, and just to give you some insight that we're all on the same boat. We're all struggling with the same thing. We're all, we all need help here and there, and I hope that these videos motivate you. I hope that these videos put a smile on you, make you laugh, something. I hope they do something for you. And I honestly do it from the bottom of my heart. I love helping people. It's why I'm making that transition, into my organization by next year, is that I really want to help people get better. And I just want to show them that there is a better way, and a better way to live, even if you come from the worst of the worst of Southside Chicago. All right, guys, I gotta get to work. I got my first client, plus I gotta train. So today, I want you guys to go out there, ask somebody how they're doing, and mean it. Like, let's learn to not be selfish. Like, let's learn to call people and care and water our grasses instead of looking at everybody else's grass. All right? Hey, I'll catch you, everybody. My name's JC. I am Wrong to Strong. Stay in your lane, live savage, and remember, live for God y súbanse a la suburban.